All right, welcome back to Trip Talk Tech. We got a special guest in the house with us today. One of my close friends, a young man I seen come up, and now you the big dog CEO, Mr. Tunnel Vision himself. My guy Kyle Williams. What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up, Tripp? Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited about the conversation you ready to have. I actually love going back and having these conversations with the OGs, man. You were one of the first ones that I kind of met, before I got started on everything. I met you through another good friend of ours, man. And it's
Shout
been,
out to Wayne
yeah,
Wise. Choo choo.
you, my man, you. So it's definitely just been a pleasure, man, and getting to reconnect with you and all. I know we're gonna do some stuff in the future. And your son's been doing well. Been watching your son, man. So I'm proud of him as well.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Again, that's what this is all about. Actually, him, you,
Mhm.
I was telling you before we got started, and I think, where I wanted to talk to you. I really, I seen a person who had a dream. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Vision. Well, like you said, we had that mutual friend, and he said, "I want you to hook up with this guy, real ambitious, young kid out of Towson University. I think you were graduating. You
Yeah.
sports agent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something like that." And
Mhm.
he was like, he's selling t-shirts, apparel. I was like, all right, yeah. I'll buy a couple shirts. He like, no, raps on. He different. All right, all
Mhm.
right, all right, all right. So I talked to you, and I don't know if you remember what you said to me that day, but when we met up, I was like, I gave it to you, and I was like, well, what you plan on doing with this?
Mhm.
And your answer to me was, for real, yo, I'm trying to take on the Nikes, the Adidas out there. I'm going to be mentioned with one of them when it's all said and done.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take this brand, a tunnel vision, and I ain't gonna stop. He was like, I had a dream. I woke up. This what it was. And look at you today, man. I mean,
Mhm.
it's full circle. I mean, a couple times, I hit you up, but I mean, I think we was a couple years ago in New York. You was up New York doing business, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, this the same kid that I remember.
Right.
You
Right.
young up like, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna, whoop de whoop, and then it
Mhm.
was tunnel vision everywhere. Like, I mean, just
And you know what, man? I appreciate you much more now. Just thinking back to that because man, you ain't know me from a needle in a haystack. You know what I mean? And Chew sent me your way. I had just met Chew as well. He was like, look, man, my guy can help you out, man. And y'all just been like family ever since. You know what I mean? So I definitely really appreciate that. It's huge for older Black brothers in our community to step up for young guys that's coming out. And now I'm the one, that's helping our youth and doing different things, man. So we're just keeping the train going and just keeping along, man. But it's weird, man. I think that was back in like 2010, 2011,
2010, man. It was
2011,
young.
something like that, man. So, it's been some time, man, and just building, man. So I definitely appreciate you, man. Actually appreciate you more now than I did back then for doing that, man. So appreciate you. That was
Yeah,
all love.
man, no problem. But that's what you're about, and like you said, I think that's what you see on your grind. It's not just about the dollars and cents. It's not just about Cal being this great vision, and now it's grown and money maker. It's never
Mhm.
about that. I mean, I see what you're doing in the communities. Again,
Yeah,
you're taking that and bringing it right back, and then that was your vision from the jump. Where you
yeah.
think you got that vision from? Like, where did that? I
You know
mean, did
what, man? Like for me, like right now, like you said, man, it's not. I never been motivated by the money. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that I've been doing has been just that. It's just been my passion. Like something I just had that fire in me since like when you told you I was just different at that age. Like I just had that fire in me at that age. Like I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that just been pushing me in everything that I'm doing. So over the past couple of years or so. But just everything, man. Like we doing so much in the community now. Like now that I'm a little bit older now, it's just like that's what I care about more than going out and making a sale for something. Like I have more appreciation helping other people and actually stepping up in our communities, man. Because right now, with what's going on in the world today, like our young boys, they need that. Not just our young boys, but our females too. Like everybody
everybody?
needs guidance. And then I'm learning that a lot of people want to do things, but they just don't know how to get started. You know what I mean? And it's just like for us to be able to step in and help and try to help them lead that down that path is like one of the most important things that I do. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the sports and the company and being a businessman is great, but what's even greater for me is helping out in the community. Like, I love doing that stuff, you know?
And that's what's up, and that's exactly why we're here right now with this to really just to show these different routes that you can go in technology. Like you said, women. I was watching an interview with I think David Letterman and Bill Gates' wife. She was saying it's a shortage of women in technology.
Yeah.
Again, if we can get that community to just see different lanes, like you said, you got that next person to create your next creative piece, right?
Yeah, there you go. And I was actually that's a good thing as well because I was just I think it was on Monday actually. I was last week I was actually doing it. It might have been this Monday. But I was talking to a school in Anne Arundel County. I hosted a career day for the whole school, and it was like talking to them about different career paths and technologies. There's so much stuff out there. Like you said, man, it's just with all the way that the world is going now, it's not just about getting your degree and going to find a job, right? It's a lot of opportunities where these kids can come right out of high school and go straight into a line of work making good money or starting their own businesses or creating their own products. I mean, I was even talking to some kids, man. People don't know, like, you got people making millions of dollars now playing video games. You know what I mean? Just playing like playing the game, like not even, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, I
Professional
got I
gaming.
got one coming. I got one
All
coming
right.
on here. Boy from over Belgium. He when I met him up, real good friend. They
Uh,
killing over here playing
yeah,
them video games.
right. That's crazy, man. So yeah,
Real.
man. I just think that's great, man. If and I actually, we'll get into some stuff later, but I actually want to partner with you and trying to do some tech, like some type of entrepreneurship type of programs and stuff like that you're probably already doing. But I want to implement you some on this side as well.
Definitely, definitely. So as far as tunnel vision, where you at as far as your business now? Because I know when again early on you had the t-shirt game, you had
Mhm.
the rocking, we was rocking in the streets, going to the
Yeah,
club,
yeah,
been to the gym. You feel me?
right. And it's funny because like when I had first met y'all, right? So like the thing that I did with you was like one of the first main like things I ever did when we went over to Italy and stuff like that, man. So at that point in time, it was like I didn't know what tunnel vision was going to be, right? Because I was just taking my logo, stamping it, screen
Putting
printing
that,
it on shirts or whatever. And we was out the trunk, like, hey, who
yeah.
want? I'm putting it on everybody back. And then from that point, man, I just had so much of a love with sports. Like you said, I was already in the sport industry. I went to school for sports management, and I was a registered sports agent at the time. I was working with Octagon Sports Agency, which is one of the largest sports agencies in the world. I came right out of college, was doing that, but I actually stopped working there, man, just because I saw my vision with tunnel vision. I was more so confident in that and wanted to build that. I built that up over time, man. Like I said, we were just doing shirts, hoodies, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I think like a year or two after I got out of college, I got that first high school, right? They're like, yo, we need uniforms. They're like, can you do uniforms? I'm like,
Uh,
I ain't never done it before, but I'm not going to tell you that. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
So,
run
right.
that.
So I was like, yeah, we do them. You know what I'm saying? So got them done, and then it came out dope. And then ever since then, man, we've been in going work for colleges, high schools, youth programs across the country. Right, we've done work in every country across the U.S. We got market share in Canada, Mexico, so we're doing stuff out there as well. Um, the last college that we just got into was HBCU, North Carolina A&T. So we're doing some stuff there. I went back and done some stuff at Towson with their school store. We done stuff in the Olympics, and we
the
done some
way
stuff.
the
But
way the time at going right now, bro, with the HBCUs,
yeah,
you might have struck gold. But
yeah.
who?
So we just So we just got a one up on that. I'm hoping that can open up some doors and put us in a lot more conversations on that side. But like for people who may not know, man, like old ordeal tunnel vision, that really came from an actual dream that I had. Like in my dream, I owned a company called Tunnel Vision, and then I woke up that next day, tripping, called somebody who wasn't even a graphic designer, and they created my logo just as it is today, like the first time. And I was just like, all right, that's dope. I ran
So
with it.
input or nothing.
nothing. Like, this is what he drew for me. This is it. The same logo we got today. And it's funny because he was from Jersey, but our logo has like the Maryland flag built into it. So it's just
Yeah,
like,
like up the middle. That
yeah,
one.
yeah. No, none of that. So none of that was even thought of, man. So it was just real weird, man. And I ran with it from there. And like you said, now, at the point where we're really recognized in the industry, like we're well known for what we do now. I think like the next step for us is, we've been doing so much in terms of sports apparel. When you're talking about team uniforms and stuff like that, it's like now I'm getting back to taking our platform more so, flipping it on its head and doing a lot more retail again because we want to build that side back up. I got away from that, that out the trunk
Trying to
mentality
build the
because
brand.
obviously, right. So now it's time for us to get back to that retail side and making sure that people are going to buy Tunnel Vision every day, just like they do on Nike. So that's like my biggest thing that I'm trying to do again right now.
I ain't gonna lie, during that little period when you was out the trunk, you was on your
Yeah,
Master P grind.
yeah,
Cause
yeah, I
everybody
was.
was kicking with it. You had people walking around town. I'm like,
Yeah,
he got the tunnel
right,
vision.
right, right. So it's a gift and a curse of getting, growth and things like that. But I got away from some of that stuff that I'm gonna get back to now because that was where my real passion came from. And I love what I'm doing. I just think that, my real passion is being able to see everybody rock Tunnel Vision and just have it on a regular athleisure basis. And the uniform side is great, but just getting back to that as well.
I feel you. I feel you. Now, one thing you said I want to key on. You talked about, and I think it's important. You had a passion, but you had to give up something for that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
absolutely.
Octagon ain't no choke. Like you said, Octagon got the if you keep on the path, quote unquote,
Yeah,
you can kind of climb up the charts. So
yeah.
that
When
was
I
tough.
was, yeah, absolutely. You know what? When I was, the crazy thing is, when I was at Octagon, the main and their first client, like were big on the NBA side, because I worked in the NBA division. They had
Mhm.
Rudy Gay, which Rudy cool. We know Rudy was cool,
Yeah.
but they had Steph Curry. And it was just like Steph Curry just getting started. So I was there when Steph was just getting started. I
Yeah.
wasn't there when he really blew up and all of that stuff. So I know probably, if I would have stayed and grinded through that, some major things would have
Oh,
came out of that,
I feel you.
but I'm more than happy for, like I said, man, I gave that up. Um, and even being young, man, because I started doing tunnel vision when I was like, what, 21, 22?
You was young. You was
Yeah, yeah.
young.
I was like 21, 22, man. And trying to build a brand like that off your own money and coming up, it was tough. Like I had to, any money that I was making from my full-time job at the time, I was pouring all of that into my business. So, I went through the situation of not being able to go hang out because I ain't had the money like I had, or
Hey,
not having to worry about being fresh and getting all the things that I used to have. But I made those sacrifices to build my business. And at times things got dark, you know what I'm saying? But I kept on that
yeah.
trail and it all worked out at the end. So it was definitely some real sacrifices that I had to make. I turned down a lot of good jobs, man, to really, helm in on my passion. But I'm thankful that I made those decisions
When it got dark, when you got to that, did you ever get to a point where you said, "Nah, I can't do this no more"?
all the time, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
See, people act like it don't
Right, right.
happen.
Trust me, man. Like that's never gonna go away, man. Like people kill me with that. It's just like every person, every entrepreneur has that time where they like, man, listen, I don't know for how much longer I can do this, or and then the moment when you be ready to give up, it's just like something else clicks.
Something happened.
You know, and that ain't a coincidence, man. That's God. Like that you're doing the
Yeah,
right
right.
things. But like I said, man, anybody who out there who's winning or is doing big things and stuff, they be lying to you. They tell you they never had those type of thoughts, man. That's natural in entrepreneurship, and there's a lot of people don't understand, man. Like entrepreneurship ain't sweet. Like it's a lot of failures and stuff that you got to learn from. You're gonna lose some money, all types of things, man. But it's not for everybody. It's not for the weak minded or the weak of faint, man. So you gotta be tough.
And see, people don't realize. See, when they look up tunnel vision on whatever list at the end of the year, they looking at sales number and they see an
Yeah,
M or something right there and
right,
say, "Oh, Cal got the Maybach over there," but they
right,
don't they don't look at your the
right,
EBITDA when they come
right, right. You don't look at all those L's we had to take and things like that.
to get
So,
there.
right, and I think the main thing is like, you know, and not for anybody that's coming up trying to be an entrepreneur, different thing. Like, don't let that stuff discourage you because you're gonna have some times where people might, judge you off some things that happen. I say it all the time, man. A lot of times people don't talk about when I do all of the great things. They wait until the one time I mess up on something. That's how it is. That's just how
Nah,
we are with each other. But, that not get discouraged by that stuff, man, just to keep pushing and doing what you're doing. And always, like the fact that we really homing in on technology, I think
mhm.
is always like just trying to be innovative and stay ahead of the curve is what's going to get you through in the business world now. Like things are always forever changing, man. It's like you gotta always be thinking about the next best thing, or be able to see trends early and get ahead of the curve and get on top of stuff.
Speaking of those trends, like what can you share with us, or what is Tunnel Vision doing with those trends? How are you taking kind of looking at what's coming and saying, hey, we gonna be in front of that game?
You know what, man? Like from our perspective, I haven't put anything out there. I have some
Okay.
working patents and stuff like that, but
Okay.
we're really trying to get into wearable technologies.
That's good.
Um,
That's so.
Things with like tracking biometrics and certain things, but in a different way that has never been done. And it's probably something that I'll talk to you about offline, is
Got you.
because I've been looking for some different developers and some different ways of we could implement do certain things. It's just like when I've been going to some other larger companies, it's like they want to take chunks of it, or it costs an
Too
arm and a
much.
leg to get. And it's just like, look, it got to be a easier way to get some type of, I have prototypes, but some type of a better system. We'll talk about it, but
I
wearable
feel you.
tech,
I feel you. I feel you.
right? But wearable technologies are what I have created some myself that are really, really dope that are not out there. That I'm like really waiting to really get into the game with, man. And I'm excited about that. So wearable technologies is where we're taking it with the tech side. Um, I think some cool things that I've seen out there in the sports industry when you talk about wearable technologies, like with self-lacing shoes. I know you might have seen stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Those are cool, man. But stuff that I got up my sleeve, man, that's not out there. I know if I can get it out there, we'll,
It's
we'll
over.
change the game with this one. So we'll talk about that for sure.
My man, my man. Speaking of self-tying shoes, are we going to see the shoes? Because you did give me that. You said you was going to give me some shoes back then when you was
Yeah,
talking.
you know what?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's been coming more of reality as of late than
Okay,
before,
okay.
just simply because of the colleges that we're dealing with now. And I think
Hmm.
it's more of a reality that, as we're building on prototypes and we get a shoe made and it's solid,
Hmm.
that's going to get us in the door with one of a full-time contracts that we can get with one of these HBCUs or so forth. Like I already got some colleges asking like, hey man, y'all do shoes? It's like, look, we ain't there yet, but
That's
I
what.
just had this conversation with my team like 2 days ago. It's like, look, it might be time to finally go ahead and start getting the shoe prototype done. So it is something that I want to do. I know that's like the big drive for most of the bigger brands like Nike shoes is everything. Under
Hmm.
Armour, Under Armour, that's Under Armour's biggest problem is that they don't have the design piece down pat,
Yeah.
man. It ain't the look aspect. So they're still trying to figure that out. But with our design team, man, and what we do, I feel like when it comes to that aspect, like nobody can compete with us. And I say that is because,
Ah,
when you look at Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, and there's no knock to anybody at all, but they're predominantly
I
Caucasian
got,
owned
I got,
companies.
y'all got the pulse to the street.
Right. So we know what we want, right?
Yeah,
We understand our culture, the design, and athletic culture, and the music culture is Black culture,
yeah.
and it's just we have a one up from their perspective is because we know style. That's just the God honest truth about it. So when it comes to stuff like that, man, we can kill the game. It's just obviously just building up and being able to implement that stuff.
Speaking of that, like the software and design, is everybody using the same like design software for shoes or shirts, and it's just y'all design on top of it that's tight, or is
Yeah.
it?
So my design team is built up of about 3 designers right now.
Mhm,
I have
mhm,
a they pretty much handle all of our work. So I have a lead designer, a brother named Carmicel. And then what we do is our team, excuse me, of course, all of us use Adobe Photoshop, as of course you can probably understand that.
mhm,
Adobe, Photoshop, and you got Illustrator. And then a lot of times they all have iPads, which they draw and sketch like the base level of designs on, right? And then they take
mhm,
that stuff where you transfer or scan that onto the computer and they design from Adobe and Illustrator right from there. So a lot of this stuff is done through Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, whatnot. So that's the base of like the programs that my design team uses to be able to get all of the designs and stuff done. And a lot of that stuff comes from their creative mind. Like I may have a base level idea, but
mhm.
they're the ones that
They
bring it to
flow
life.
with it.
Right. So
That's
it's
what's
like
up.
I can see they'll come up with something, right? They'll come up with the digital mock-up and they'll send me the Adobe files. I'm like, all right, cool. But take this out and boom, boom, boom. And they're like, okay, dope, that's what I got it. And that's how we're like a mastermind group of what we create together. And but they're home of the programs that they use, Adobe, Photoshop, all that type of stuff that you get for a lot of your other, graphic designers and so forth.
So y'all heard that. For Christmas, don't go buy a pair of Jordans. Go get you your Adobe,
Yeah.
some Adobe products, and make you some tennis shoes and some gear.
And I was just teaching this to I was telling the kids that on the high school career that I was teaching the other day, man. I was like, listen, for kids right now that's in high school and college, I think during COVID, they were offering licenses for
For
free,
free.
And I'm like, listen, I'm trying to tell you that
Yeah.
you learn because I don't know how to use it, right? But my guys do because I let them I let them stay in their lane, right? But there's
Which means you pay somebody
right,
to do that, right?
right,
That's a
right, right.
job. That's a whole lane that ain't his. He has
And
a business.
it's the biggest part of my business. It's the most important part of my business. I'll say it again. It's the biggest and most important part of my business. So that's what
Technology
I
is at the
right,
root of $1 million business.
right. So that's what I invest most of my money into is our design, our programs that we have built around that, and the look of our business and how we market. And of course, on the marketing side, every business nowadays is trying to figure out how to best utilize social media when it comes to Instagram, Facebook, Twitters, all the Etsy's and different things, man. So another key thing with technology, I think that a lot of people are taking advantage of learning how to do is a lot of businesses don't have the time to really do some things, so they're delegating a lot of work. And I think right now, for those people who can figure out how to master social media marketing with and ads is a huge thing right now. Like people are paying companies or individuals big money to teach them how to run their ads in effective ways. I think that that's a huge part of technology right now. I had a guy whose son, I knew him. His son created a company that kind of specialized in geofencing. So I learned about geofencing. If you know what
Okay.
geofencing is,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that was huge part of your business, man. And anybody, geofencing. I was amazed when you could. They
And
tell me
stop
that
and you
they
can see
right. You
in
can set up
different
a
areas.
geo fence around Ravens football stadium, and everybody within that stadium, you get all of their data to
Yeah.
figure out what they're searching, what they're buying. It's crazy, man.
And
So
people don't get is so much data out there when they put their little number in the market or they
right,
get their Nike little card to get their $5 back for the year. But
right,
every purchase is they telling
right,
you, cow, they
yeah,
love the high tops, they love the basketball,
right,
they love black shoes. They love
right.
it's crazy.
So I'm still learning about that, but I'm understanding how much of a key to success that is for businesses, man, and people who specialize in that and have that knowledge readily available right at their hand. That's like companies will pay you so much money to run and handle that stuff for them because that's how they make their revenue. Just based off that stuff. Everything is digital now, man. I feel like we're in a world right now where in a couple of years, I feel like malls are going to be gone. you know, a lot of stuff, man, is just not going to be the same way. So the digital wave, I even feel like brick and mortar. You look at like Dick's Sporting Goods and all these,
All of them.
they're gonna be gone too, man. Like
Yeah.
Amazon is taking over, you know. So the digital way of doing stuff, man, and I just felt like, you know, that piece, that technology piece, man, it's it can do a lot of wonders for these kids and different people coming up in terms of their revenue streams and what they can make out of high school, college.
Man, you hit it right off the head, man. It was funny back in the day. You had that mantra, I think, too, that was hot. And again, knowing the pulse of the streets, you was right on Meek Mills. You know, that's when he had
Oh
all
yeah,
the Dream Tracer
yeah,
mixtapes out, and then you had to
yeah,
chase the dreams.
yeah.
Where did that come from? Was it the same, just the tunnel vision dream, or was it
You
just
know what?
the moniker? How
At
did
the
it get?
time, around that time, I think Meek Mill came out with his first mixtape, which was Dream Chasers, right? And it
Uh,
was banger. Like that's all I was listening to around that time. But it's funny because at that same time is when I had that dream about everything. And it just
uh,
made so much sense. It's like, this is my dream. I'm chasing it. Like our
uh,
slogan, chase your dream. So I, you know, patented it, you know, trademarked it or whatever. And it just made it goes right
that
in
makes
tune
sense.
with the tunnel vision and the chasing your dreams and everything, man. So it fell into place. Like people around that time, they say it all the time. It's like, oh yeah, that's the Meek Mill. I was like, yeah, but I didn't just
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it. I ain't just take it from it. It actually came from my own thinking and my logic too, you know. So
No,
that's one of
again, like you said, the whole vision you got, right?
mm,
I mean, come on, man. Like you said, that just came out of nowhere. You had then you got a
right,
logo straight out of nowhere, and then
right,
you was on that wave. It was just Dream Chaser came out. You had the
right,
shirt printed up.
right,
I'm,
right,
I'm walking around town and hey, yo,
right,
that's that. And nah,
right,
but yeah,
right. That's funny. Yeah, it was kind of that was the same time, man. And that's when I think about that, man. That was like that was. You know how you just have a thought about something, or you hear something that takes you back to a particular time in your life. When I
uh-huh.
listen to that mixtape, that's where it takes me back to those days when I was just getting started, and it was all about just being full of life. We're gonna do everything possible that we can do out there. And that was fun, man. That was fun.
We was putting it on back then. You was sponsoring everything in town. Why
Yeah, everything out the city, man. I was on. You know what I mean? Chew was like, "Look, I got you." I'm like, "Bet, let's run with it. Whatever we got to do, man." So,
you,
man, Chew. He hooked me up in a lot of different ways, and I appreciate that, man, for a lot of stuff he did because he ain't have to do a lot of that stuff,
he did a lot. He do a lot, man. And people don't
man.
even know
Yeah,
the man behind the mass mirror.
yeah, exactly.
Hey man, I see you do a lot also. I don't ever want it to go undone. Just your philanthropy in the neighborhood, like you said, the community. You do stuff at the schools. I mean, I seen you. You got the turkey drive coming up here soon.
Mhm.
Um, you want to talk about that a little bit, kind of what Tunnel Vision doing in the community?
Yeah. So back in I think it was April, I started a nonprofit organization, which is under the Tunnel Vision umbrella, called the Chase Your Dreams Initiative. It's a
Okay.
501c3 nonprofit where basically we help people realize their dreams and provide them with the resources and the tools they need to be able to achieve their goals and go out and do certain things. So, we try, whether it's in the community
Mhm.
or through programs, different programs that we're building through sports, we try to make sure that, if not just an athlete on the field, but making sure you're being successful off the field. So whether that's teaching them about entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
technology-based lanes like what you're trying to do,
Mhm.
um, teaching them about financial literacy, just all the different tools that they need to be able to be successful, not just on the field, but off as well. And I think that that's a key, especially for our communities coming up, because a lot
Definitely.
of young females or males think that, hey, only thing the way to make it is either rapping or sports, and it's
And
like
we know
no,
what Biggie said.
right, 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 right,
Wicked jump, crack
right.
rock with wicked jump shot.
Right. And it's a lot of things that I found out growing up that I felt like if we implement this stuff and teach it to these kids in middle schools and high schools early, they can have a head start on their own lives and do different things, man. So that's what I'm actually building through curriculums that we got called the dedication series that we're building with a lot of different schools, i.e. why I did the career day the other day, Chesapeake. So now that they're letting me on a committee, I'm gonna talk to them about implementing entrepreneurship programs and stuff like that to help with that for those kids on
That's
those
what's up.
platforms. And then outside of that, man, we always just look for, um, our people. I try to go back to underserved communities, man, and figure out what they need. So like this summer, I went to one community and actually started one of the best men's summer leagues in that specific community, and then used it to raise resources for that community. So I raised money for the community. We were able to feed people who were struggling during times with COVID, and then we gave back school supplies to like 300 kids and laptops. You know what I mean? So I used our lane to be able to provide. And then this Saturday for the holidays, man, people don't understand. Like a lot of people may not show it, but a lot of people are hurting right now. Just because of the pandemic and all that's going on. We just want to make sure that people can get a good meal for the holidays on us. So we're just taking some pressure off. I know some people usually on holidays may spend $200 to $300 just going out shopping for food. And we just want to tell them, like, look, you don't do that this year. If I can save you $300-$400, you can go put it on your kids' Christmas, then go do that. You know what I mean? So
That's what
we're about. That's what we're doing this Saturday.
Feel you, man. That's what you've been about, and like I said, that's what makes you special, my G. And it is what it is. I appreciate you, big dog. Hey, look, before we get out of here, I always gotta ask. I ask everybody this. Actually, let me ask you this first.
Mm-hmm.
5 to 10 years, where you see tunnel vision?
5 to 10 years, I see tunnel vision being able to finally compete with the Nikes, Under Armour, Adidas. I want to be my end goal is to be $1 billion brand. Like I want to build a legacy brand where we can have our own corporation, our institution, man, and be able to have our own shipping departments and manufacturing facilities that we can do here in Maryland. So I want to set up our own on-site manufacturing facility as opposed to manufacturing things overseas. I'd rather create jobs here and do something for our community. And Under Armour try to do that in Baltimore. I just don't think that they brought in the manufacturing side of that yet. But I would like to be one of the first ones to do that. So 5 to 10 years, to be able to compete with those guys, be on the same revenue stream, and then also bring global manufacturing back here to the U.S.
See what I'm saying, man? You ain't even worried about making a billion so you can get a Maybach or nothing. You trying to create jobs for everybody here, man. And that's what tunnel vision about, and that's what people need to get behind. And before I get out of here, I gotta ask you, I ask everybody this, man, female, whoever come on the show, and you can answer this without bias since you don't have no tunnel vision kicks just yet. But what's your all-time favorite pair of kicks?
All-time favorite pair of kicks. I'm gonna say one that's probably the obvious. I'm gonna give you an obvious one, and I'm gonna give you like my all-time favorite because I feel like my obvious is the Air Jordan 11, the white and black Jordans. I feel like that's almost an obvious choice for anybody, right? But then my all-time favorite is the blues, the foam posits.
The dopes.
The blue one, blue with the clear bottom. Those are like that's my all-time favorite right there.
See, I'm an old head on, so mine would be the old Dwayne Wade Cement Force, the Jordans.
Oh, the Cement Force. Cement Force is dope, man. I like
yeah. When they came out, I ain't had no money. I was in about 5th, 6th grade, and I was like, first time I get $1, I'm gonna get me them. So
the Cement Force, those are dope.
Hey,
look, I got a question for you though.
What up?
What programs are you feel like are out there that I might need to know about in terms of like to help with operating business and doing certain things that maybe I don't know about that you know about?
I think what you said on the marketing side. I think not necessarily that you don't know about it. It sounds like you got a good grip on it, but definitely the social media marketing. If you can, it's a lot of people out here that, to your point, doing it freelance that aren't charging a whole bunch when you don't have to go Google SEO per se. You and start getting your searches up. Start getting that name out there, like you said, more on the internet where people start vibing that brand. Because I really think when you had it clicking in the city, like I said, it was like Master P vibe, right? Where people was just vibing with it because they felt good about it. So I think that can hit every town. It's just how do you get it in that town, and then where do I go? And I think those optimizations put you in the place without spending a bunch of money, like
There
spending
you
good.
go.
You know what I'm saying? ATL is huge,
Yeah.
but if I can go to College Park area and
Mhm.
rock out, you go from there. Um, what else? I would just look at things like your e-commerce, right?
Mhm.
I don't know what you're doing there, but just that's like dollar by the dozen stuff now. So
Mhm.
look at your platforms. I know places. I don't want to give them free pump, but we'll talk offline.
Yeah.
But there's places out there that have good packages now because it's so competitive. So I
Yeah.
would definitely just review all of that stuff, not necessarily change anything, but just review your platforms, and people can move that stuff for pretty much next to nothing or free because they want your business. But sound like you're in the right place. I think that wearable tech, that's again, like you said, get your team together, get behind doors,
Yeah.
crack the industry, man. You
We're
know
gonna
that they
talk about that, man. I figured I know you got something for me, so I might have
hey,
to bring it to your table, see what you
we
think
getting
about it, man.
we don't give them too much out here. We
Right,
gave
right,
about 20 lanes, y'all
right,
look.
right, right.
We gotta get you to that 1B.
Okay, we figure it out, baby. We figure it out.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you, big fella. I know the community appreciates you. You keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, from the heart, bro. I'm truly proud of you, man. Like I said, when I met you, you was a pup
Mhm.
that told you was gonna do something, and you did it. So I respect you, bro. Much
Yeah.
respect.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, man. I like doing stuff like this, man. So anytime you need me to talk to some younger guys or whatever, call me up, man. I got your back. So appreciate you and all love, man.
One thing, I know I bombarded you in your inbox one day about it, but golf. Get that golf apparel, man. Get you out on that golf course. That's
Yeah,
hey look, I rock it out there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I could play a little bit to hold my own. So,
Yeah. Matter of fact,
I'm
I'm actually trying to learn how to play golf. So we gotta go
that.
have a golf outing one day. So
All
you
right,
gotta
hey,
teach me.
I owe you around anyway for the interview, so I got you. You just let me know when you're free for real, and
Okay.
that's a good deal.
All right, cool. We gotta talk more. So we'll stay in more contact.
Bet. All right,
All right,
bro.
bet.
Man,
All right,
talk to
appreciate
you.
you, babe. Okay,
All
babe.
right.